I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge all those who have sadly lost their lives due to the COVID-19 pandemic. More than 1,600 people have died in the past 2.5 months here. As we've heard before, these are not statistics on a page, but each case represents families who have lost loved ones dear to them. We honour their memory, but continuing to do everything we can to keep rates of infection down and overcome this virus. The Defence Forces, as has been mentioned, have played a central role in the national frontline response to the COVID-19 pandemic, and today is a welcome opportunity to commend their work and remind people of our reliance on Óglaigh na hÉireann, who continually rise to the challenge in the most testing of circumstances. As is the case with the health services, the Gardaí and all our emergency services, our Defence Force's greatest strength is the character of the personnel we call upon, who serve this country and their communities with great bravery, courage and commitment. Equally impressive has been the continuance of the essential non-COVID duties throughout all this upheaval, such as our peacekeeping operations around the world. I've received a huge volume of contacts from family members of those serving on missions in Lebanon, and I know the rotation and return of these personnel is causing great anxiety and concern for families who are anxiously waiting their return. And I understand there is unhappiness with how developments with this has been communicated to them and the need for better communication going forward. And this is an issue I've raised directly with you, Minister. Separately, I'm pleased and relieved to see the necessary arrangements have been put in place to ensure our 2 peacekeepers have been returned from the Democratic Republic of Congo. The safety and well-being of our personnel is paramount in all our peacekeeping duties overseas. But ultimately, poor paying conditions continue to overshadow many aspects of our Defence Forces, who remain the worst paid in the public service. So it's no surprise to see the ongoing concerning rates of turnover and us not meeting our white paper target of 9,500. As has been mentioned, the strength is now below 8,500, well below the minimum strength figure. And last year, the Defence Forces suffered a net loss of 265, with 870 departing and only 605 being inducted. And this represents a really concerning trend. And Minister, my questions, I have about 2.5 minutes left, relate to the high-level implementation plan of our Defence Forces. And I have to say I'm really concerned that 8 out of the 15 projects are significantly behind schedule. We have the Tech 2 to 6 pay review, I think was presented to DEPA in January of this year, and we're nearly in the summer, a number of months on. I mean, the representative associations were sceptical when this report was published last summer that things wouldn't be followed through, that they wouldn't see the implementation of this. And if the implementation plan is failing and only 8 of the 15 projects are behind schedule or aren't being followed through, that continues to raise morale issues. It continues to affect retention and our ability to recruit. So perhaps you can give a more specific update on why we're seeing very generic responses given to the representative associations. Like, you know, some things were started 8 months late. We have you know, lots of project V1 or 2 or 3. I can go through them all, Minister. You're better aware of them than I am. But I have to say, I am disappointed that when an implementation plan is put in place within the Department of Taoiseach, it should receive the cross-departmental follow-through, particularly when we have such a recruitment and retention crisis within the Defence Forces. And to see over 50% of projects behind schedule and not meeting their deadline, that raises serious concerns about who's implementing the plan, why it's being delayed, and why isn't there the follow-through. And COVID can't be the net excuse for this. This started last summer. So I'd just like an explanation on where this is at. Will the delays be rectified soon? Because we're still seeing the churn increase and the turnover increase. So I would appreciate your clarity on those, because PD4 and RACO are really concerned about the follow-through. And I think for their members and our Defence Forces, who we're paying tribute to today, they need to see that politics are serious about their issues, and the implementation plan is what was focused from the previous and the current government. So I'd appreciate a brief update.
Thank you very much, Cearla. First of all, you raised there about the UNIFIL mission. As you know, that the UN Secretary General, the Under Secretary Jean-Pierre Lacroix, cancelled all rotations from all of our missions, UN missions, and of course this was going to cause some distress to both the members out there and their families. And at the time, my own department, the Defence Forces and the Department of Foreign Affairs got working to see could we get our members back home earlier than the end of June. I'm glad to report that they will be home, that we have secured 2 dates, and I'd like to thank our UN Ambassador Geraldine Byrne-Nason for her efforts in all her work in that. Ireland is one of the first countries to be able to move out of the UNIFIL mission area, and I know that our members that are going out will go into isolation the weekend for 2 weeks before they go out, and this has been huge distress on all families, and I'd just like to say that. But you talk about the communications. Look, when you're dealing with a high level number of people, of course it's going to get out and it's going to leak into the media or whatever, and there was mixed messages coming back, but I was very clear that I didn't want to go back to the families until I had a specific date on the return, and I know there was a huge amount of misinformation that was out there. It wasn't coming from me, and it wasn't coming from the department or military management, but I know it did cause a lot of anxiety among all the people out there, and I'm glad that we were able to get our 2 people home from the Congo over the weekend as well. Just on, you mentioned the high-level implementation plan, and you said, like, you know, COVID-19 has impacted on the project timeframes. I've met PD Fora last week, and I have agreed to meet with RACO, and I know there have a number, both representative associations have a number of issues that they want to raise with me. A huge amount of work has been done already, Deputy, on the high level implementation. A huge amount of independent chairs, and independent chairs, I think, have been appointed on a number of the projects that are there, and work is ongoing on this, and we will continue. And this will be a priority. Look, absolutely, we have challenged in the area of getting. I think we were I thought we would have been able to get some of the projects over the line in the period of time, but no, because of the amount of work that's in it, it has taken a huge amount of time.
So there were 2 other